The salvage station orbited a dead world, its skeletal frame casting long shadows across the rust-colored planet below. In the lower cargo bay, where the air tasted of metal and recycled oxygen, Eli Rowan sat cross-legged on a storage crate, her small fingers tracing patterns in the dust. She was 7 standard years old, brown hair matted with sweat, her coveralls 3 sizes too large and rolled at the cuffs. Beside her, Tusk lay coiled like a spring wrapped in muscle and fur. The honey badger's eyes, black as void space, never stopped moving, tracking every shadow, every sound, every potential threat in the abandoned section of the station. The raiders had come 2 hours ago. They called themselves the Kresh Syndicate, a motley collection of Xanthari pirates, Vlixen mercenaries, and a handful of other species that had learned to profit from humanity's scattered refugee colonies. The station's defenses had fallen in minutes. The adult humans had been herded into the main hub, valuable for ransom or labor. But in the chaos, one small human child had slipped through the cracks, disappearing into the maintenance corridors with her 4-legged guardian. Now, 6 Xanthari prowled the cargo bay, their chitinous armor clicking with each movement, mandibles chittering in their complex language. Their leader, a scarred veteran named Scretch, had tracked the child's heat signature to this sector. An unclaimed human juvenile would fetch a premium price on the outer rim markets. Small thing. Scretch clicked to his companions, his translator rendering the words in flat standard. Harmless. Probably hiding in the containers. They spread out, plasma rifles held ready, thermal scanners sweeping the bay. Scretch approached the stack of crates where Eli had gone to ground, his compound eyes reflecting the dim emergency lighting. That's when he saw it. The creature sat in the open, positioned between the crates and the advancing aliens. It was small, barely reaching an adult human's knee, with silver-streaked black fur and a white stripe running from its snout to its tail. To Scretch's multifaceted eyes it looked absurd, laughable, something to be kicked aside or shot for sport. "What is that thing?" one of the younger Xanthari asked, lowering his rifle slightly. "Terran fauna," Scretch replied, accessing his suit's database. "Mellivora capensis variant. Honey badger. Genetic modifications for void exposure and enhanced aggression. Some humans bred them as companions during the diaspora." He clicked in amusement. "Ridiculous creatures. Move it aside." The younger soldier approached, extending his rifle to prod the animal away from the crates. Tusk didn't growl, didn't hiss. He simply moved. The honey badger became a blur of teeth and claws, launching himself at the Xanthari's exposed joint where the armor met at the knee. His jaws, designed by evolution to crack open beehives and crush bone, enhanced by human genetic engineering to pierce synthetic materials, found purchase. The soldier's screech echoed through the bay as Tusk worried at the joint, his compact body a whirlwind of savage efficiency. "Shoot it," Scretch commanded, but his soldiers hesitated. The creature was too close to their companion, moving too fast, and their plasma weapons might injure their own. The wounded Xanthari finally managed to shake Tusk loose. Stumbling backward, his leg sparking where the armor had been breached, the honey badger landed on all fours, positioned once more between the aliens and Eli Rowan. Blood flecked his muzzle. His eyes held no fear, no hesitation, only an absolute determination that transcended species. Behind the crates, Eli whispered, "Good boy, Tusk. Stay." The child's voice seemed to electrify the animal. Tusk's muscles tensed, his body lowering into an attack stance that predators had perfected over millions of years of terrestrial evolution. Scretch reassessed. He'd heard stories about human companion animals, the bonds they formed, the lengths they would go to protect their charges, but he'd dismissed them as exaggeration, the kind of mythology that desperate refugees told themselves to feel less alone in the cosmos. He was beginning to understand those stories weren't myths. "Surround it," he ordered. Coordinated fire. "Kill the beast, take the child." The 5 remaining Xanthari moved to form a semicircle, rifles trained on the small mammal. Tusk's head swiveled, calculating angles, measuring distances with predatory precision. He was outnumbered, outgunned, facing creatures 3 times his size with weapons that could vaporize him in an instant. He didn't care. The first soldier fired. Tusk was already moving, impossibly fast, the plasma bolt scorching the deck where he'd been standing. He went low, under the second soldier's line of fire. his teeth finding the vulnerable power cable that fed the Zenthari's weapon. Sparks erupted as the rifle died. The bay became chaos. The Zenthari fired in bursts, trying to track the honey badger's erratic movements, but Tusk had been bred for this. Human geneticists had taken an animal already renowned for its fearlessness and enhanced it. Faster reflexes, denser muscle, bones reinforced with carbon lattices, a metabolism that could sustain burst activity that would kill an unmodified creature. One by one, the Zenthari fell back, weapons disabled, armor joints breached, their confidence eroding in the face of this small, relentless defender. Scretch made a decision. "Fall back," he commanded. "It's not worth it. One human child against this. Leave them." As the raiders retreated, Tusk maintained his position, not pursuing, not celebrating, simply watching until they disappeared into the corridor. Only when the last footstep faded did he turn, trotting back to where Eli Rowan sat on her crate, tears streaming down her dust-streaked face. She wrapped her arms around his neck, burying her face in his fur. "You're a good boy," she whispered. "The best boy." Tusk's tail wagged once, slowly, as he resumed his watch. 3 hours later, when the station's automated distress beacon finally reached a human patrol ship, the rescuers found them there, child and guardian inseparable and undefeated. The officer in charge, a grizzled captain who'd seen his share of the galaxy's horrors, knelt before Eli and Tusk, studying the honey badger with newfound respect. "What happened here?" he asked softly. Eli looked up, her young face carrying a gravity beyond her years. "Tusk protected me. They were scared of him." The captain nodded slowly, looking at the scorch marks on the deck, the drops of blue Zenthari blood, the claw marks scored into deck plating. "Smart aliens," he said quietly. "They learned what we've always known." "What's that?" Eli asked. The captain reached out, carefully scratching Tusk behind the ears. The honey badger allowed it, though his eyes never stopped scanning for threats. "Never," the captain said, "underestimate what a human's friend will do to keep them safe." In the vastness of space, where humanity had scattered like seeds on the cosmic wind, it wasn't always their ships or their weapons or their technology that kept them alive. Sometimes it was something simpler and more ancient. The bond between a child and her protector, forged in the same fires that had shaped both their species since the beginning of time. And the galaxy was slowly learning. Where humans went, they brought their friends, and their friends didn't know how to quit.